Alrighty, everybody always says bonds are boring. I've even said that from time to time. But today we're going to give an intro into something that's pretty cool. And again, it's just an intro, but it's pretty cool, and it might be something that whets your appetite for future videos or future things like that. So today we're going to talk about PIK bonds. What is this? A traditional bond, as you all know, has a stream of payments. So someone issues bonds or borrows money, and there's a principal. So someone may borrow $1,000 and at 10% per year for 5 years, something like this. Okay, so they're gonna borrow this $1,000. The receiver gets the $1,000. Okay. And then to hold that for this period, every month or every quarter or every year, they pay the lender 10%. Now they can pay just the interest, they can pay the interest in principal, mixture, however they do it. But generally, every so often, every month or whatever, they pay this issuer cash. So they pay the 10% over the year. So the lender or the person who purchased the bonds gets this payment, let's call it every year just to keep it simple. They get the $100 a year paid in cash from this borrower, okay, or user of the capital here, okay? That's pretty simple. There's some other things to it. There's some calculation, time value of money, etc. But basically that's what happens. Now, let's say that you are paying the lender, but not in cash. What do you pay him in? This is where the PIK bond comes in. Your payment is in kind, which means you're paying in the same vein and style and characteristic and with the same thing that you're borrowing, which in this case sounds like money, but it's actually a bond. So what happens is when you pay, instead of paying the cash, one method of PIK bond is to defer paying that cash and to let this bond grow. So you can defer paying the cash, bond can grow, and then at the end of the year, the borrower pays the total, at the end of the 5 years, I mean. Okay, now, obviously, there's more risk to the lender in this, and the borrower doesn't have to use the cash. So this is more expensive. So the rates on a PIK is going to be a higher rate, okay? Pretty simple. Now again, this is just an intro, but let's talk about a little cooler, just to kind of whet the appetite, way to use PIK bonds. So now instead of just letting that bond grow, one thing you might do is you might issue in payment something else that's non-cash. You might issue, now, most people are going to get caught up in issuing preferreds and different things like that, trying to get them to match in some way or be in some style of the interest in the PIK, but it doesn't have to, right? It could be, you could just issue common stock, okay? And you could issue that in real time. So you could issue your common stock in real time as your payment. So this could equal some style of the 10%. Let's say it's actually 20, because it's gonna be. So as the borrower, you're gonna pay 20% of your 1,000 in stock, okay? Could be current market value, whatever. You're gonna issue that to the lender. So this lender is going to receive the equivalent, let's say at the end of the year, just to keep it simple, of $200 of stock as payment on that bond. Now again, I want to stress, this is to be continued. There's a lot you can do here, a lot of really fun stuff. We'll talk about that We'll talk about why PIK bonds and toggle pikes, which is just, well, we'll talk about that, why they went away, why they came back in 2012, 2013 in full force. Again, we'll talk about that in future videos. So check back in. But again, I just want to reiterate, you got your PIK bond. Traditional bond is going to pay in cash. And then the PIK is going to pay in something else. Could be paying and increasing that bond, which is boring. Or it could be paid and issuing common stock to that lender. We'll get into a lot more later. So stay tuned, come back, like, subscribe. We'll do more of these videos. Thank you.